Cheers, everyone, as Roger says. It's been a minute, so I'm going to come back and talk to you. I think about the BC and the fact that I'm not making videos every day. So I just make it when I'm ready, you know. Watching Roger's latest video got me going. And just a second now. See, this has changed my life already. Okay, I'll get back to that. All right. Okay, see how technology. The main thing that people like to hear me talk about is music, so I'll try to do that. But I don't have any new records, you know, to show and talk about, which is what is can be the most fun for me. Although I get consistent feedback, and I've gotten some nice feedback recently on Facebook where people really miss my voice when talking about music. Although I've made a bunch of videos, I understand that you can watch old videos only so much, and then you want new input. And then also, as I've looked at my own videos over the years, I see where my comfort level with being who I am in front of this camera has evolved. So I understand people appreciating when I do want to make a video and when I make it. I just have to do it when I want to, it's just the way it is, you know. And a lot has been on, I've been busy making ends meet, doing a lot of music, which brings me to the music that I will start showing. The band Chemicals I've been telling you about, which is developing slowly for a number of reasons, namely logistics. Everyone is so busy. But one of the horn players, Blake, young man, visited my house for the first time yesterday and brought a friend. We had a listening session, had a great time. I just really enjoy youth and young energy, but I also appreciate being around young people who aren't stupid. And in the art world, you can meet a lot of intelligent people as well as dummies. I align myself with the smart people, and so had a real nice visit with Blake and his friend Lewis yesterday. They shared some music with, well, actually, Lewis shared some music with me because I like to know about stuff. And he told me about some reggae people, or kind of reggae. Mike Love. When I hear the name Mike Love, I think of the Beach Boys right away, which I explained to them, explained to them how I'm old, and my sense of history and what I've been through. It's, they didn't even know, had no idea who Mike Love was except for this reggae guy who's good. Trevor Hill, guitarist, who has the tapping and very physical way of playing the guitar and singing. Really excellent. I told him about Davy Graham and Bert Yance and John Renborn and Michael Hedges and all those people, this whole lineage of guitar players who are completely involved in the guitar with their whole body. But this Trevor Hill guy is very good. And then he turned me on to this band called NACO, Medicine for the People. I didn't get to that one yet. With that in mind, another young lady who is part of the band Egypt was over. We're working on some vocal, I'm basically doing some vocal coaching with her. But she turned me on to a John 9, I believe is her name, reggae singer. Good stuff. But I turned Blake and his friend onto some music. Blake plays trumpet, and so with knowing he was coming over, I put on some Eddie Henderson, Realization. And of course it caught his attention not very long after he got here and we're talking. And it's playing in the background, because this is some dynamite music. It is. It's very, this is music that is not entertainment. You can be entertained by it, but this is music for life. I guess that's what people like about what I say. The music is very important to me. This is more important than politics. And I might be a little off track, but in my mind, if societies were based on art and the aesthetics of beauty and music, we wouldn't be in the pickle that we're in. So I played that. Fantastic. Both sides. Just fantastic. I explained to him that Eddie Henderson was actually came to me through Herbie Hancock, and the album that brought those musicians together was this one, Mwandishi. Basically the same group on this album is the group on the Eddie Henderson album. And groundbreaking album. This is an album that turned my head when I heard it as a teen. Opened my eyes. And one of my favorite mellow songs is on here. You'll know when you get there. It's one of the most wonderful ambient pieces of music that just takes me away every time I hear it. It's just fantastic. So we talked about this. I told him, get it on your list. Okay. I also had to talk. He wanted to know about stuff that was really helped to formulate me. So I had to play him some gong. Played You, side 1. It was wonderful to play this for these young people, because when it got to the part where on side 2 where they go into the Om, these fuckers just naturally closed their eyes and started doing this and just went into it. And as the music started to build, they started to talk because they're feeling it, you know. I love turning people on to this music because, no offense, but everybody and their grandma knows about Led Zeppelin. And I like Led Zeppelin, but Led Zeppelin didn't help my life the way gong has to this day. Okay? So get that. Also showed him my autographed first album by Gong when I finally got to meet David and see them in 1996. It was fantastic. It was like meeting family members. It really was. David recognized it too. And so did Gilly Smith. Pep Pile. DJ Mel Herb gave me his card, said we need to make a record together, and I was too freaked out. That was too much for me. I couldn't believe that I could make a record with a member of Gong. I could have. I didn't follow through. I was too freaked out. We talked about other musics. And them being young, he talked about how much he liked Smashing Pumpkins. And I shared that I always thought that the Pumpkins are overrated, that Billy Corgan has an inflated sense of his importance as an artist, that this band is the band. Catherine Wheel, you talk about a 90s band, Catherine Wheel, head and shoulders above. This is just my opinion. Don't get, if you get upset, so be upset. For my aesthetic, Smashing Pumpkins can't even hold a cup of water compared to Catherine Wheel to this day. This band is fantastic. I put it on and sure enough, they heard it, okay? So all you gotta do is hear the music, without hearing a bunch of bullshit from some stupid critics. Let your ears do the listening, okay? A few days ago, I was doing some reading about Bill Frisell, and he mentioned, he's from Denver. And in the article, he mentioned how his first band was a band called Soul Merchants. Well, years ago, I played a show with a guy who was in a band called Soul Merchants. I can almost call his name. But anyway, he sent me a copy of his band Soul Merchants album. But I don't think this is the same band as the Bill Frisell. They're both from Denver. Possibly this band was the band Bill Frisell started in, but he's not on this. I don't know. If someone knows, drop me a note. But I've kept this because I got it directly from the artists. It's kind of hard to find. It's not really that good. But this is an album, this is an example of, I have records that I don't play much, that I don't show, but they have reasons like I just explained why I don't get rid of them, and this is one of those, Souls of Merchant. A musical concept that I love dearly is The Resonance, and I was playing Fingerprints. And all I can say is that the Resonance are just something that need to be experienced. I had some Boris going on. Heavy Rocks. They have a new one with Merzbow. I'd love to get it. I see that, Roger, you have it. I love what they do with Merzbow. And this album is the second version of a Heavy Rocks. They put out two versions of this album. Really like this band. Okay, so now besides that, what I've been doing in the last couple days actually is I've been digging into my boxes of CD-ROM burns. Years ago, not years, well, yeah, a few years ago, before places like, I forget who it is, but uploading sites like Mediafire and stuff, before they got shut down, I would go and find blogs where people were uploading old albums, complete old albums, stuff that I couldn't afford, and I would just download them and then burn them to CD. So I had some out, and I happened to grab a bunch of, okay, here's some I was playing, okay. So Philippe Granchet, I used to have this album, 3,000 Miles Away, slightly hokey synthesizer, but I just have a soft spot for this stuff. I just love it. Manuel Gutsching, Ashra Temple, The Private Tapes, Volume 6. This is something that someone sent to me, and I made a cover for it. And it's essentially, a lot of this is home recordings, where he's just doing noodles and stuff, and he decided to share it. Some of it's good, some of it's not very good. Here's an album I've always wanted on vinyl. I've never had it on vinyl. It's a very wonderful spiritual album. Gila, Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. Listen to this. German band, very spiritual, very much like Popol Vuh. I think this is a classic album myself. Classic German spiritual rock. What else did I play? Grandfather, where is this from? UK band, don't know anything about this. 1970s, Grandfather. Kind of a progressive rock sound. I was getting off on that. Let me try to find some more right quick. So I have these boxes. I have boxes and boxes and boxes of music. And so let me Fantasy, an American band, progressive rock. Their albums are very expensive to find. Beyond the Beyond, and this is worth it. Music, this is really good. Real good. With mellotrons and, oh, this is really good. Beyond the Beyond, Fantasy. I've never seen a real copy of that album. Here's an album that foolishly I sold years ago. Finn Forest, Lato Matkal. I still have the first one. From Finland, jazz rock, excellent. Now, I actually have the album, but before I got a replacement copy for this, I burned a copy of Fad Gadget. Turns out that a long-distance friend of mine was a member of Fad Gadget. I can almost call his name right now. But we've been talking a little bit and corresponding a little bit on Facebook. I do dig the fact that at that point where I am associating a lot with other artists who I've been listening to and buying for years, now they're my friends. I love that. This is fantastic. Fantasia. Where is this out of? This is from Finland too, 1977. Fantasia. Progressive rock and some jazz. Again, these are records I never see. I want to hear them. Mark Fry. This cover may look familiar to some because Donovan Barabajagal, his album Barabajagal, he ripped off the cover design from this album, Mark Fry. Dreaming with Alice. This is a highly collectible folk psychedelic album for good reason. It's really good. It's conceptual. Everything is woven together with these interludes. Really, really good. Mark Fry. Yeah, that's one of those records where when you find it, people want $700 to $1,000 for one copy of the damn thing. Here's another one where if you can find it, it's thousands of dollars. A folk rock album, Focal Point. Now listen to this, and it's just got a charm to it. It's like you can hear that it wasn't It was recorded cheaply, but it's just got that feeling. Just fantastic. Japanese prog rock, Flied Egg, Far Out, awesome. I have one album by them, but this is the one I'd really like to have on vinyl. Flied Egg. I think of Chris, 4127 Basket in Switzerland, when I show you Flame Dream, because he gave me one of their albums on vinyl, Flame Dream. But this is, I think this is their best known album, really good. Italian progressive rock, Formula 3, gross cover, great band. I don't know what they were thinking when they made that damn cover. That's awful. That's awful. Flat Earth Society, Waleco, American band. Wonderful stuff. Great stuff. I just, so I've just been going through this stuff while I've been working. I'm working on a project for my job right now. Besides doing the testing, they'll give me projects, and I'm doing one now that has my living room full of boxes. I can hardly move around in the damn place. So, Iblis, jazz rock. Wonderful. Yeah, I wish I could have all these records on vinyl. Here's one I love. This is so cool. Elucin de Kuiper. French folk rock. Just fantastic. I can just go on. I can go on. Yeah, it's like there's a lot of records I'd love to own, just to own them, Let's play in this. Fantastic. Syl Johnson, Is It Because I'm Black? Fantastic song if you've never heard it. Look it up and listen to that song and listen to the words. Still very sadly true today. That's another thing I can talk about. Yesterday, a friend of mine's daughter, who's in college now, Emma, contacted me and said, for her sociology class, she needed to, get some, interview some people for, get some direct quotes regarding the African American experience in America. So we met yesterday, and I gave her some good input and just told her unequivocally that even though there's been a change, things were really not better when it comes to society and race. We're still in a very classist, racist, fucked up society. There are two tiers, there are two classes in general, white and brown, okay? People that don't see it or want to deny it just make it the problem worse, okay? It's just it's just a shame, that we have to deal with this unspoken advantage that that we're dealing with, white privilege. It's not right, and it goes on, and that just came up because it's something I said had brought that up. I haven't talked about selling any records or anything. I still have some records available. I just thought I'd say hello and show you what I've been listening to. People like to hear me talk about music. There it was. It's pointless to talk about current events because the world is off the chain. The world is in really, when it comes to leadership, the world is in the hands of complete fools. I don't see any good people out there in charge. Bernie Sanders is trying to give a good message, but he's still just a politician, and he's a slave to the system, which is just broken. And we're going to have more destruction and misery as a result of politics. I honestly do wish that some way it could just be said, okay, this is not working. We've got to call a timeout. We've got to reorganize. But that's not going to happen because it's too complex and too many people are still winning. They're making money. They're living large. That 1/10 of 1%, the world is their golden goose, and they're having it. And the rest of us just have to suck on it.